Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to talk about the Infinity Game Table and kind of have a wrap-up video for 2023 of the Infinity Game Table, where we are, what games came out, you know, all that kind of stuff in a wrap-up style video, and where the future holds for, you know, the Infinity Game Table in 2024, which I definitely have some thoughts on. So let's go ahead and start off with just showcasing some of the games that came out over the last couple months that I haven't talked about on this channel. One of them being one of my favorite games that I had on another different kind of table that I'm super glad that is finally on the Infinity Game Table. Because I've been waiting for this one to be ported over for a while, so I'm super excited to show that off. So let's go ahead and dive into that first.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so let's start off with the first game I wanted to show you guys that came out here recently, Accidental Annihilation. I think this one is really fun. It has a story game, story mode. It has multiplayer and single player. Multiplayer is where this table shines, and that's what I gravitate towards because I love having this table out for parties to be able to play them in multiplayer. Of course, it has your game stats here as well, so you can take a look. I've been playing this game on the smaller edition, so I've already played a bunch of this game, but the game stats obviously show 0 because I've been playing a lot of it upstairs on my 18-inch just because it's easier to get to play, and I usually have this table out for when there's parties. But if you click on multiplayer, let me show you exactly how this game works. You pick a easy, medium, hard, or extreme, and then you click on easy, for example, here, and then basically it goes to player 1 and player 2, and essentially what you're trying to do on this grid is you're trying to get all of these boxes out before your opponent. Now it's telling you it's player 2's turn. It's kind of like a take on Minesweeper, but a much more prettier version, in my opinion, and a much really fun game. So basically, you're hitting ones back and forth. And what these numbers mean is that means that around this area surrounding it, there is a possibility of there being a planet there, and you're trying to avoid the planets that are before your opponent actually hits them. You're trying to outlast your opponent, and basically that means that 3 of these have one of the a planet in there. So this is a really risky one to do because that means if I hit this, or this that's right next to it and adjacent to it, 3 out of 4 of those is going to have a planet. So probably don't want to hit that right now. Like his, for example, only has 1. So I'm going to take a chance and go here. Boom. There's another 1 over there. Now it's going to be his turn. Now he could, of course, just hit a random one. But again, we have 1 over here only. So that means it could be this one, or this one that has this. So 1 out of those 3 have it. But I'm going to go ahead and just hit a random one. All right, we're still good. And that's another 1 that's over there. And you can go blind if you want to, but I'm probably going to do one of these and take my chances. Boom, we got another 1. He's going to go. He's going to go right here. And then you go back and forth, and you're trying to outlast your opponent here until one of you end up hitting one of these planets here, which you will see. And it's a really strategic game because you have to play mind games and see, like, and like I said, play with those numbers, see where you can actually go. And it's a game of back and forth. And then when you hit a good one, you get that whole entire quadrant out of there, like I just did. And then, boom, it exploded because I hit one of the planets, unfortunately. And it shows you where all the planets used to be right now. So you can see that we lost here. It looks like player 2 annihilated his quadrant. Let's move on to the next one. So you can obviously see how that works there. Again, there is a single player game as well, and there is a story mode, so you get a little bit of a story as you're playing. I think the game is really well done. It's obviously a take on Minesweeper, but I think it's a much prettier version and a really fun game to play, especially in multiplayer with that take. And this is a great addition to the table, in my opinion. These are the kind of games that I talk about where I say it may not be an actual board game, but arcade games that are designed for a table of this size, designed with local multiplayer in mind, can shine on this table regardless, and if it's a big name board game or not. The next one here, as you guys can see, is Memora. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be pronouncing it wrong. Critter Quest. So this one here also has a story mode where you can hit start, right there, or it also has quick match where you can do easy, medium, hard, or impossible, and you can also do multiplayer as well. You can even enter in your name over here if you want to at the top, where you can have up to 4 players, which is really cool. Now if you hit multiplayer, let me show you exactly what this looks like here. Let's say you hit right here. You could do speed based or turn based. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the first one, and then you can see you sit across from each other, and in this one you are basically trying to match. But look how pretty this artwork is. I mean, it just looks really, really good. And you're trying to do this faster than your opponent, obviously. I'm also not paying attention like I should be. There we go. So you're basically trying to do a speed thing, trying to get this faster than your opponent, as fast as possible. Just like that. And then it tells you player one wins. Great game. Let's play one more. And then when you go across the map, and yes, this is a simple game of matching, but it's presented in such a great way. Like the art design is fantastic. It's still a fun game to, do a speed race against your opponent and stuff. And that was just level one. You're doing the speed on level one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it obviously gets harder and there's more cards. For example, if we click the speed based over here, look how much worse this is. And it's always randomized, so obviously you can't memorize where these cards are because every time you play, it's always going to be different. But now you're matching 16 and you're trying to go as fast as possible. And again, it has really fantastic artwork. And then, like I said, it also has the turn-based one where you basically, let's say you hit one player, and now you're just going one turn at a time, where one person's going and they're looking for the match, and you're trying to get more matches than your opponent, and it rotates back and forth. So, again, simple in concept, but the developer of this did a really good job. I mean, they gave you the multiplayer there, which is great. It's not just a single player game, because I would have definitely taken it down notches for me, because like I said, this table shines in multiplayer. But the fact that you can have all your names up there as well for your save slots up there, so you can have 4 different save slots. You have your quick match where you can just do impossible and try to beat the clock and beat the matches and stuff like that, and how many tries it takes you. The artwork being this good looking makes it that much more fun to play. The fact that there's actually a story mode, which I'll let you guys explore that, where it goes through a story as you're matching and stuff. It's just really creative and what is technically a simple concept and is expanded upon really well, and it fits perfectly for this table. And these are the kind of games that I like to see that just work really well with the table, incorporate local multiplayer in it, and just really unique. Now, this is the one that I was really excited about when it first came out. This came out literally a couple of weeks ago, and this is called Sploy. I've played this on another platform, and that platform no longer exists, so I was really excited to see this game join this table because it was always the perfect game. And I told them about this game a while ago because I knew it was a perfect game, and it's a really fun game designed perfectly for a table of this. So up to 8 players can join, as you can see here, and I'm just going to make everyone join. You pick your color. Really simple rules and really simple play mechanic. You could do a small board, medium, large, or huge. I'm just going to go ahead and start small so I can show you guys the idea. So basically what happens is that you are trying to be the last one standing, and when you can see that when you place one of these, there's a number at the corner, and that's how many times it's going to take for this bomb to explode. So once it hits number 4, it's going to explode. And when a bomb explodes, it explodes with that color surrounding it and adjacent. So I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's just let everyone else go everywhere. And now it's purple's turn. You can see the table highlights to know whose turn it is, which is great. And I'm just going to go ahead. You can see that one exploded because obviously I wasn't paying attention, but that was only a 2, so that's why it exploded. I wanted to show you guys, but we'll do it again here. So boom, you see that? So what happens is that you're trying to create these daisy chains when it's your turn, because this one obviously is going to explode when it gets to 3, but now it's purple's turn. That's not going to go anywhere. But now it's my turn, so if I hit this one because it explodes at 2, it's going to expand out, and it's going to hit this one and this one. It's going to take this over in my color. Oh, it's not my turn. It's awkward. Now it's my turn. So see how it took that over, and it keeps going and creates this crazy effect. And playing this game is insane, and I can't really duplicate it on this table because it would take some thinking. But this game, when I've played this game at parties before, it creates the most hectic situations because what may not be coming across is that there's a lot of daisy chains that happen once this board is filled up. And again, you can play with like a bigger table and stuff like that. So if you see like the big board, let's just say it's for 2 people right now, and you play like the huge board. When you have 8 players playing this game and stuff like that, it is chaotic as hell because there's going to be so many daisy chains that are going to be happening on here because this has happened so many times in this game, which is what makes this a great party game. You'll have the whole entire board right here filled up in purple. And then one person will have one blue sitting right here. And you're like, purple obviously won. And then boom, this guy explodes his one blue because he comes up with the perfect turn for him. And it keeps daisy chaining across the whole entire board because it keeps hitting it. Because if if this one's at 2 and mine explodes onto it because it hit 3, then it's going to keep going and going and going and daisy chaining off of the other. And sometimes it just takes over the whole table. Even though you had one blue left, you take over the whole table because of the daisy chains, and you out of nowhere win. The table goes crazy that they couldn't believe you just pulled that off. So it adds for some really epic moments. It's a great multiplayer game, and it supports 8 players. It's one of my favorite games before it came on this table, and now that it's on this table, it's going to be one of my go-to games for this table. And people play it all the time, and it's a great party game. Really easy to play, really easy to understand, and people love this thing. Fantastic get on this table. All right, and this other one here is called That Cribbage Game. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys. I have never played Cribbage before. I don't know how to play Cribbage, so I kind of just want to show you guys this so you guys know what it looks like if you guys are fans of this, because there's been a lot of people in the community that have been wanting a Cribbage game to come to this table, so I know there's a lot of people out there that are excited about it. So I at least wanted to show you guys what it looks like, even if I don't know how to particularly play it. I have some friends coming over. Maybe they can teach me and show me how this actually plays. But what is cool is that it seems like there's a lot of variety here, because you can see there's 15 different boards as you scroll through, and they're all differently designed. And each one of them obviously could be longer than the other if you want a short game or a longer game, depending on what you want. You can see this is a short board version, and then, yeah, so there's a lot of different designs on here, which is cool. So we're going to just go ahead and leave it here. And you can see you can play up to 4 people, which is nice. So you can go ahead and tap here, and 4 people can join, just like that. And you can name yourself, which is great. I love when games actually let you name yourself so you actually know what the other person is. And it's not just random names, so that's great. You can even choose a voice, male or female. So that's cool. So you can see that. You can turn AI on in the game as well, as you can see. So it doesn't have to be... You know, you can play with AI. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit AI. Obviously, you guys know you can hit everyone to... You can play with up to 4 people locally. But for my sake, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it looks like it took away my name when I went to AI, which makes sense. Oh, wait. No, it didn't. It's still there. Put that back. And yeah, so let's go ahead and hit start. Again, I have no idea how to play this. And I've not had a chance to learn the game yet. But I just want to show it to you guys because a lot of people were excited about this. And it just came out. But from what it looks like, from when I played this game and ran through it a couple of times, it definitely looks like a fun game on here. Select one card to put in the crib, so everyone selects a card. You're going to go ahead and discard that, for example. I probably discarded a terrible card. For those of you guys who know Cribbage, you're probably screaming right now at the microphone. You can see you're putting in your cards. It's counting up. You can see how this is working here. And you can see I move my piece up. Don't have any more cards left for this round. So it's up to these two. Obviously, you're trying to get your piece to go around the lap. Get that. And try to get there. Obviously, be the first one there. And then you get your bonus points there. I like the announcer and stuff like that, how they tell you exactly what's going on. How it calculates everything. So he went up a lot there.
15, 4, 2. 15, 4, 4. 15, 4, 6. 15, 4, 8.
They went a lot up as well.
15, 4, 2.
I did hardly anything. And that obviously gets reshuffled.
4, 2. A pair for
Oh, the cards that went in. That's right. I went up a little bit because of that. Nice. So yeah, you guys get the idea of what Cribbage is like. If you guys know this game, you guys are probably going to be really excited. I'm excited to dive into this game with my friends this weekend when we play it, so they could teach me this game and get the strategy down. But it definitely seems really well implemented. It has a lot of variety with the different tracks and stuff like that. I love the announcer telling the score and stuff like that, so it's not just automatically just giving a score without you knowing exactly why you got that score. So I think it's really cool, and it's definitely a fun game. And the fact that you can play with up to 4 players, obviously you can't see each other's cards, so you have to use those blockers that we talked about in the past. But this is seems to be really well designed and a great addition to the table with this local multiplayer stuff. And hopefully this is one that gets online play. And besides that, they have a bunch of options in this one. You can turn off the vocals if you want, the volume, the music volume that's playing right now. You can turn that up a higher. It has vibration and stuff like that. They have like a how to play section. So it tells you exactly how to play. It also has backgrounds that you can choose, which is pretty cool. 17 different backgrounds that you can kind of use while playing. Nothing too crazy, but you know, some variety in the backgrounds that you're staring at. I did forget to mention here at the main menu, if you actually click on these settings, and you can actually get game statistics as well, which I really like. That shows you, you know, how many games you played and how many you lost and stuff like that, which is obviously always fun when you add your player names. That's what I want to see in more games from Arcade1up. Let you put your actual name in the game and have these local leaderboards. Local leaderboards is really important on the Infinity game table, in my opinion. And it's a fun way to keep track. I love local leaderboards in systems like this. So the fact that you can go in here and everyone has their own name and everyone can keep track of how many games they won and stuff is a fantastic way to keep competition alive. So great job with that. And more games need to do that for sure on here. Then they also have some backgrounds for the cards. So that's something you can play with and have different variety of card backgrounds. There's over six. There looks like there's 63 of them. So a lot of different designs there. There's designs on these cards as well. Some fun ones to mess around with. So they had a lot of good variety for what you would say is just a card game. And like I said, then you also have the table backgrounds as well. So really good job on that game. With the local leaderboard support being a standout, because a lot of games don't do that, and more games definitely need to do that. And then the last one here that we want to talk about that they added is Texas Hold'em. They actually gave away this. They actually gave this for free to everybody who backed it up on Kickstarter, because it was supposed to be a game that was announced a long time ago. So it's great to see that they gave it to all the backers for free. But obviously for everyone else, you can add it here. Again, this has AI that you can play with. You can also just leave that as player 1, and you can play with up to 6 people playing Texas Hold'em here, as you can see. And you can add AI, whatever the case may be, and you can see the starting chips depending on where you want to play. And it's your basic Texas Hold'em game. This is one of those games that I also wish had local leaderboard support, like the Cribbage game, where you can actually, you know, keep track and have your player name and stuff like that, and see who has won the most money, for example, and stuff like that, just to add, you know, that level of competition in your home or with your friends coming over and stuff. But besides that, the game in and of itself obviously works exactly what you would expect. It is Texas Hold'em, and it works exactly how you would expect Texas Hold'em to work, where you can fold and you know, call and, you know, all that kind of stuff that you would expect in Texas Hold'em. So this is another one that I hope that they kind of add more stuff to it, in my opinion. I want that local leaderboard support. I want to see more variety in the you know, basically what we saw in the Cribbage game. I want that local leaderboards. I want the player name stuff. Give us some variety and maybe some different backgrounds and cards, just to add a little bit more flavor to it. But again, it is exactly what you would expect out of Texas Hold'em. But Cribbage is definitely, without saying that the game is better, because obviously some people are going to like Hold'em versus Cribbage, but the game is much more thought out and designed in the Cribbage game for sure. All right, guys, now that you saw some gameplay on some of the games that recently released, I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys about the Infinity game table in 2023 and where I think we're going to go in 2024. So as you guys saw there in the overview with the latest update of the dashboard, you guys saw that there's now a friends capability where you actually have an ongoing friends list now that they recently added literally in the last couple weeks. So obviously they are still listening. They are still putting effort into this table. Hasn't been abandoned or anything like that. That's been showcased by, you know, having releases, but even not just releases, but upgrading the dashboard and giving us the features that we obviously want. And a lot goes to say with that, because, you know, we've all wanted a friends list that you can actually see your friends online. So now you can actually go in there, see your friends, touch them, and see the last game that they played and all that stuff, which is super cool. But what that email also said when that update came out, which is really exciting for 2024, is that the whole purpose of them adding this friends list is to give us what we all been asking for since day one, and that is an open lobby system. So that means that when you see your friends online, and obviously I don't know how it's going to work, but when the idea is when you see your friends online or whatever they do, there's going to be an open lobby that will show, hey, this lobby is open. It has people playing Monopoly. There's 4 to 5 people in there. They're looking for 2 more. What that means is that, you know, right now there's some games on here that have online play, but not a lot of these games have an easy way to know who's online. You got to actually click on the game, see if anybody's online, or invite somebody in from your friends list to join. There's no online multiplayer or community where you can just go in and see who's online in any game so you can join people quickly. So I don't use the online that much because of that, because you need somebody on your friends list to also have an Infinity game table and play and invite them on your friends list. But if this open lobby system comes and it's everything we hope it can be, there's going to be something on the main menu that says, hey, there's 5 games being played. Some people are playing Spades. Some people are playing Monopoly. Some people are playing this. And then you could just easily see how many people are in there. You could easily just touch on the lobby and join them and play with them. And that's what I've been waiting for and been clamoring for since the very beginning, because that is what we need. It's kind of like the same thing with all their other products. If you guys use their Arcade1up products for all the other systems like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and stuff, it has the same idea. It has an open lobby system where you can see who's online, and then you can click on the person and invite them into a match. And that's what we've always needed for the Infinity game table. And they've not only just done that with the dashboard update, you can tell that they were preparing for this, and we should have noticed this beforehand, because they've been adding online play to a lot of games recently, and that obviously they wouldn't be adding online play if they weren't preparing for something bigger in 2024, and they've added it to a bunch of different games here. If I go off the top of my head here and see, you know, they added it for Scrabble. I don't know which ones they added recently because I'm just looking at the giant dashboard here. But they got Yahtzee, Trouble, Sorry, Scrabble, Oh No, both Monopoly games, Wizard Chess, Guess Who, Game of Life, Dots and Boxes, Dominoes, the Billiards game, Backgammon, Battleship, Candyland, Checkers, Chess, and the other 2 chess games, Shoots and Ladders, Clue, Connect 4, and Crossy Road. And that's just the ones that I have installed. There's definitely more than that. But the point is that they're adding online multiplayer to these games, and I hope they keep going down that road, because they know there's actually a beneficial reason to do it now, because we're going to have an open lobby system in 2024. So that's the first exciting thing to look forward to in 2024. And the other exciting thing to see in 2024 is that obviously if they're putting all this effort into it, that means we definitely have more games coming. They've apparently released 50 games or more in this last year alone onto the store, which is obviously great to see. And I hope that that keeps going in the same direction for 2024 and we see more games added, because obviously they haven't gotten the big name games that I've been clamoring for, and a lot of us have been clamoring for in the board game community. I know it's a simple one, and we want to go even further down this road, but like Catan needs to be on this table. They have a partnership with Asmodee. I want to see them lean into the Asmodee partnership, because they own so many games out there, not just Catan, but that's obviously a big name that they can get on this table. And I get it, it's probably really expensive to license some of those games, but they would really move tables. They got some of their popular type IPs there, like Carcassonne and Catan and all that stuff that people know. That would be great. And even if they don't get the big names out there, because they can't, because it's way too expensive and they need to drive up there first. There's still a lot of games out there in the board game world that are not that expensive that they can easily put on this table. It doesn't have to always be card games or arcade games that, you know, are relatively great on this table sometimes because of the touchscreen that I've talked about in other videos. So there's still an avenue for a lot of different games to come out here, and a lot of the games that came out this year are not those big board games, and truly surprised me and how great those games actually are. The one I just told you about is Sploy. That's a fantastic game for this table. It's not a big board game, but it doesn't matter that it's not a big board game. It's just a great freaking game that plays on this table. What's the other one that was on here that now I can't remember? I think it was called Annihilation that we talked about. I think it's the Annihilation game that I just showed you guys before. That was like a take on, Minesweeper and stuff mixed together. Fantastic game. It's not necessarily a big board game name, but it's a fantastic game name for this table, and it works super well. So my point is that they could do a lot of things with this table, even if they don't get those big name brands, and they have been doing some of it in 2023. But I really want them to push that into 2024. Try to get some of those big name titles, and while you're doing that, get some of these smaller games and get them on here and have a blast playing these games, and get games that we can have a lot of fun with. As much as I think those arcade games are fun, I obviously ignore those games most of the time because they're just not that good to play on this table. Because it's just not something I'm going to gravitate towards. This is a digital board game table. I want board games on this table. I don't really care about like a mini zombie experience on this table or stuff like that. I want the true, and like again, doesn't have to be big name board games. It just needs to be fun experiences designed specifically for this table. And we talked about that, some of that here when I showed some of those games off. But there's been so many games. I'm looking at this table backwards. I really need to turn this around so that I could actually see the titles here while I'm talking to you guys. That would be much more helpful to talk about some of these games. But if I look at some of these games that are on this table here while I'm talking to you guys that are not big board games that are still a lot of fun, Accidental Annihilation, that's the one I was thinking of before. The Texas Hold'em that we talked about is a great game on here. Coinito that came out this year, fantastic. It's a 2-player strategy game. That was really well done. Crossy Word, Forzy has been around for a while, but that's a fantastic game that they did a really good job with. Let's see. They got the Memora series. Like it's a really, really good memory game that really incorporates really cool stuff in that game. Both their versions are really good. Then we also got Cops and Robbers, which I thought was really fun. We got Oh No, which is really fun. Pixel Push Football that we've talked about in the past. Splody that we just talked about. What else do we have here that they just released? Where's that other one that they just released here recently? That I now can't think of. Oh, it's because I'm not looking at the store and I don't have it downloaded because I had to make room on this table because I had way too many things downloaded. But they gotta just lean into some of these games. They've done some good stuff, and the third-party developers coming on here have done some good stuff. But the experiences that for me don't really do anything are the ones that just don't. And the arcade experiences could work well. There are some out there that did work well for this table. Whack-A-Moles, that's been around for a while, is an arcade-style game that worked really well. So it just depends on the kind of game that comes on here. But things like Panda Commander, which was a game on here that's like a flying like arcade game. It just doesn't work very well, and it's not going to be a game that most people are going to play more than once or twice, which is exactly what happened to me. But the good news is that I think, in my personal opinion, there's a lot of good games on this table now. Where I think if you know what you're getting into, look at the library on their website before you buy the table. I think there really is something for everybody on this table, and I have a lot of favorites on here. Obviously, I wouldn't be saying that if I didn't actually believe it. I mean, I literally got the 24-inch model. I have the 32-inch down here, and I got the 20-inch, 40-inch model upstairs. Not the 24-inch. Is it the 18-inch? 18-inch model sitting upstairs that I sometimes play when I'm sitting on the couch, and I like that for the more arcadey experiences like air hockey and stuff because the touchscreen's better on that, which I talked about on a review. It's more responsive. But I like the platform, and I like some of the games that are on here, and there's some games that are just really fun. Bowling Solitaire was fantastic last year that I love playing on here. There's a lot of good games on here that are local multiplayer that you play around the table that do a fantastic job. So I want them to be good, for them to keep leaning into that. I want to see more local multiplayer games come on here because that's where this platform shines. It's not, in my opinion, the single player arcade style action games that someone's going to play once or twice. And there has been really good games on here. So I'm excited for 2024, and the fact that they're putting in all this development and stuff into the online system and stuff like that only shows that they're still going at it. So Arcade1up, if you're watching this video, you did a great job this year. Over 50 new titles. Obviously not all of them were hits in my opinion, but there was still something for everybody throughout the year regardless. That was really good in my opinion, with a game for everybody out there. But for 2024, get us that open lobby system, which sounds like it's coming. Get us, if you can, the bigger name titles that Abzamode has and some of the other publishers that you guys are working with you have. And if you can't get those right in the beginning, get some of these other games that work well on this platform that are not just considered shovelware by some people and stuff like that. Get some of the ones that I just mentioned here below. Get games like that people are going to love, because there's a lot of good games on here and we want more in 2024 because we love the platform, and I love this table, and I love what it does for local multiplayer board games around this table. I have this thing at parties all the time, playing Pixel Push Football around the football season, playing all these other games, with friends and stuff like that. I got specifically the 18-inch so I could bring it to families' houses for holidays and stuff, because this thing is a pain to bring over because it weighs too much. But now I got the 18-inch where I could bring it over. So, and the Ticket to Ride game that's on here was done really well. So is Pandemic. So they obviously could do big name games on here and make it work really well. So that's enough rambling. You guys get the idea. I'm really excited to see what they do in 2024. I'm more hopeful than I was like 4 months ago because I see that they're putting effort with updates to their games to get them online. I see what's coming to the online platform as far as open lobby system, which to me means there's got to be more games coming. So that's obviously exciting for this platform, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for it. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this long ramble about me telling you about the future and the current state of the Infinity game table. And if you guys have any questions, as always, leave it down. And if you guys want to purchase your own Infinity game table, links will be down below in the description. In my opinion, as long as you look at the library and you look like the games are going to be a lot of fun, I think it's worth it. If you're into this style of thing, and if you're into the games that are on here, of course, like I am, and I have a lot of fun with it. I bring it out at parties all the time, and everyone's always all over these tables playing different games that they know and love, or experiencing new games. So I think it's worth it, especially if you have a family with kids and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff on there, but even just for parties in general, people seem to gravitate towards it and have a lot of fun. So guys, if you guys have any questions about anything you guys have seen in today's video, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.